What's up, boys and girls? It's Bruno here with Team UTY. Today we're going to be doing a tier list of Handtraps post Supreme Darkness that's going to be coming out in about 2-3 weeks. In that set, we're going to get a lot of new stuff. We're going to get a new Moa Army, we're going to get Hero support, we're going to get Arcana Force support, Atlantean, whatever. We're gonna get a lot of support in that set, and I just feel like we gotta talk about this stuff because it's gonna be pretty important to know what to main deck and what to side and what's worth and what's not worth anymore with the new set coming up. So let's go ahead and take a look at this tier list here, and what we're gonna be doing today. We have 5 different categories right now. We have main deck A+, it's you gotta main deck those Handtraps. High potential or still like main deck worthy, and you still gotta do it if you can, you know. Situational is like if your deck benefits from this Handtrap more than the other decks, it's something you gotta take advantage of it and you gotta kind of use it. Side deck is because definitely not a main deck option for you, but definitely a solid side deck option. And forget about it, it's just you already say it's like don't even bother about these cards because they're not going to be worth it in the next format. So first of all, let's go ahead and talk about all 3 Moa Armies, okay? So of course the best one still going to be Fualos by far. This one is absolutely insane. People, if you want to main deck this card, I think you should. The new cards are coming out, they're going to suffer a lot from this Handtrap still. And it is like still like high potential and main deck worthy. Same thing for this one, I would, but right now it has high potential. If you do want to main deck it, I think it's still worth it because Raizio is still gonna be in the format. But this card right here is either okay, it's a one-off for cross-out target if you play, or a side deck option, but it's still high potential for most of all. But I feel like this card, same as the new Moa Army, are going to be side deck options for you right now. You don't want to overload your deck with like 9 Moa Armies because you can only activate 2 of them. So if you do draw like into 3 of them, you only can activate 2 of them. So that doesn't really matter. But they don't do much besides drawing cards, which can be a lot if your engine is really good, but it's better to combine like Fualos and Perilia, or like two of these with a couple of the Handtraps, so then you can break your opponent's board even before he passes the turn. So that's what I think about it. Okay, Ghost Mourner, it's a card that has high potential, especially because it burns as well. In my opinion, it's situational. Okay, like if you're like worried about time as well, that you can take that out of the side, or if your deck does lose to time because you have to pay life points like the Exodia stuff and Punk that's going to be coming out soon as well, this card can be really good. Besides that, I feel like it's more situational. I would say one of the reasons why it's as well as not good, especially in the Raizio matchup, they're gonna go ahead, they're gonna Xyz summon into a Xyz monster, like dual drive the searches. They can just send that to the graveyard, summon another one, and because you didn't negate the activation or the effect when he activated, he's still going to be able to just summon another one and search those 2 cards to the hand. So not a lot of stuff activates on summon, and they can chain block as well sometimes, so it really depends. Nibiru, it's still a really solid card. I'll put this card in high potential, if not main deck worthy like at all, but high potential right now. Definitely a card that you gotta consider putting in your main deck when deciding which staples you want to put in for your Handtrap engine. Nibiru is gonna be a top tier for you. Nibiru plus any other Handtrap like Imperm or Valor guarantees that you're gonna be able to break their board very easily. So it's just the reality. Nibiru is really good, really strong. Same thing, Ghost Ogre is a high potential card right now for the fact that same thing, like dual drive needs to detach and it doesn't resolution, so Ghost Ogre can just disrupt that. And when they activate the field spells like effect to draw 1 on Raizio, you can destroy that as well, so you can get rid of like the annoying card that's a +1 and negate every turn. This comes up a lot on the U-Bell matchup. I know people are not really too scared of the U-Bell matchup, but the deck is still very real, and I think it's the most, it's the best end board in the game still. It's a deck that utilizes the Finsmith engine the best way possible. That's what I think about it, okay? So Ghost Ogre on Nightmare Pain, it's really good, so you just gotta keep it. Okay, Ash Blossom, you guys already know. This is the counter for the Moa Armies that everyone's gonna be playing. Ash Blossom, there's not much you need to explain. You can negate summons from the deck. You can negate adding cards from the deck to the hand as well. It does a lot. Sending cards from the deck to the graveyard as well. This card just does a lot. You guys probably already figured out as well, but Dogwood, it's going to be a side deck card. You know, if you're close on time, this card can come in clutch. I don't think it's going to be as, like, we're not going to see this as much as we saw like a couple formats ago. For the reason being, the games right now are not lasting as long. That's what it feels like. Even the last tournaments that I've been to, it's been really rare for me to go into time where I would need a card like this to win on time as well. So, my opinion, it's side deck or just forget about it. But definitely, no one mains this card, probably. Okay, this right here, we gotta talk about it. It's gonna be a side deck staple, still in a lot of decks. Reason being, Malice is a real deck, guys. I underestimated the deck. I'll tell you guys that right now. I underestimated Malice, but people are playing the deck and it's seen success, like in the meta right now. And even though you gotta discard a card, it's really hard for them to out this because all their traps not gonna do anything pretty much. All their monsters not gonna be able to do anything. He won't be able to banish anything. The downside is you gotta wait for your opponent to special summon a card, but besides that, like, Little Knight won't be able to out it. Access code that they play also won't be able to banish his cost to, like, destroy this card. So it's really hard for them to out this card unless they're playing like specific tech engines in their extra deck. But besides that, it's really hard to out this card on like against Malice. Okay, this one, yeah, no, for sure. No, I'm kidding, guys. Oh, don't play Gamma right now. Gamma, a 1 kind of sucks. I'll say this: if you're pairing Gamma with the other, what's the name? The one that negates a spell, can be pretty decent. But right now, I feel like Raizio, Malice, it's all mostly like monster effects. So, I mean, Gamma would be the best. But since spells are not that crazy in this format as much, I would say just forget about it for now, being honest. Okay, Contact C. This card is really good against Raizio, and that's about it. And the problem is as well, I would just put it on forget about it right now, because if they play in pure Raizio, this card is freaking broken because they get locked into rank 4s and then they can do anything. Like if the first thing that they do is special summon a monster and lock themselves into a rank 4s, this card is freaking broken. But because most people are playing the Fiendsmith engine in their deck, they can just link this away, you know. Okay, next card, Shifter. I feel like if your deck can play this card, it's just really good. But funny enough, I won't say that this card is main deck staple anymore. Most decks right now in this format can pretty much play around Shifter really well. And that's one of the reasons being because I'm going to put this on high potential. Malice can play Shifter just fine, it's better for them. Raizio can play under Shifter as well, which it's not a problem. And then there's a couple other decks that will do that. But I mean, still very high potential. If your deck can play this, 100% play this card, you know, because it's not, I'm not going to put in situational, because this is a high potential card if you can play it. Drawing Lockbird as well, it's a high potential card right now. A lot of decks are searching a lot. Raizio does search a freaking lot. Ubel searches a lot. The new cards that are going to be coming out, Arcana Force will search a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of decks that search a lot, and this also helps you stop the Moa Armies. So, in my opinion, it's high potential. I won't judge you if you want to main this card, because I understand it. Okay, I understand it. If you get hit like with a Fualos and you gotta summon like 4 or 5 times from the extra deck, draw and lock in yourself, it's not a problem. And if you can do that to your opponent and stop their plays, even better. Now they gotta play with everything that they have in hand to be able to build their board. Okay, Bystials. So Bystials are still really good, but the format is not that light. I mean, okay, I lie, because there is Fiendsmith going around in a lot of decks, but it's more situational. I'll say that against Raizio, the pure, this won't do much. I would say it's more situational right now. Bystials, it's not something that you need, you know, like it's not something broken, because if you put this in your deck and you're playing against a deck that does not play any like Tempai, whatever, like that don't play any lights or darks, like this really won't do anything. That's the reality. Okay, this card here is, most people need their extra deck right now, unless if you're playing like Flu or Monarchs and you don't use your extra deck and you want to like have a little tech. Here we go. That's the card for you. But besides that, dude, just forget about this card. This card, it's not that great. Lancia, definitely a side deck card right now. Lancia is a broken card against Malice, being able to completely shut down their plays. If they shifter during their own turn, you can also chain Lancia, and then they're gonna be like struggling a lot to play. So it's pretty decent. Okay, Ghost Bell. I think it's situational right now as well. Ghost Bell. It's a high potential as well, but it's more situational. A lot of cards banish, like the Malice stuff. If they're in a graveyard, they can trigger to banish and stuff. Like you can stop Bestials, you can stop Call by the Grave, you can stop a lot of like different interactions. But it's really situational. It's not my go-to Handtrap, I'll tell you that. But that's about it. Schoolmeister, just forget about it. I'm not gonna talk too much about this card. There's a lot of graveyard effects going around, but Schoolmeister is not necessary in my opinion. It's not it doesn't do enough. I'll tell you that. It doesn't do enough. Imperm, I feel like Imperm is a main deck staple. Everyone should be playing Imperm. And it's not only because it's a Cyber Dragon, you know, art, but but reality is it plays around talents and thrust really well. And it's not a monster effect, so you can play around the Rizio field spell on the Malice stuff. Like if they have a trap to set, they can dodge it. But I mean, if they have it, they have it. But this is still really good, you know. So that's what I think. And as well, Valor, I think it's a high potential card as well. Reason being, it's pretty much the same thing as Imperm, but it triggers talents and thrust. And Rizio field spell can negate it. It can be maybe a target for opponent, like to revive from your graveyard. I don't know. There's like too many weird things going around right now. But this is pretty much it. I didn't want to put like crazy amount of hand traps here. I think these are like the top tier hand traps right now. These are situational side deck staples, you know, that you can play and stuff like that. By the way, if you guys want to see a tier list for board breakers and a couple other things like side tags and stuff, let me know in the comments. I can bring that up as well for you guys. But I'm gonna leave the video right here for you guys because there's a lot of information, and we'll see how the game's gonna go in a couple weeks from now. But I'm excited for the new stuff coming out. Okay guys, well, thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.